You're listening to the Real Estate Entrepreneur Podcast with Terrence Murphy, where we cover sales, investing, and entrepreneurship with an emphasis on real estate. Each podcast, Terrence and his guests will bring you informative and inspiring information within the real estate industry.
Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Entrepreneur with Terrence Murphy. We're going to get this thing popping today. I'll start off with a quote. This one's short and simple. It says, "You are a visionary, or you better join a tribe that has a visionary, because it will be tough to navigate where you want to go in life without vision." And that's by me, yours truly. It's the first time in all the episodes I actually put my own quote on here. But I have an amazing guest today. Tonya Weathers' journey from losing a stable relationship and giving birth to stillborn twins to a real estate entrepreneur and coach inspires others. Her major focus is on long-term buy and hold rental properties, mortgage notes, and Airbnbs. Her claim to fame is a $100K payday after house hacking a home in Dallas, holding it for 4 years and walking away with a big check. Tonya offers live and virtual training with her Breaking Courses Real Estate Investing Academy. She teaches beginner investors how to do the exact same thing. Welcome her to the show today. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. So happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. I know we had a couple scheduling issues, but we are here. God is perfect. Everything's about timing. And we're going to drop some gems and some nuggets and get your story out there to the world for sure.
Yeah, it's going to get her done.
Yeah. So tell me real quick, just give me your story real quick. Let's dive in it. Tell my audience who you are, kind of how you whatever you want to share, but then how did you get into real estate and how did you decide to become a real estate entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Tonya Weathers. I am originally from Florida, now in the Texas, Dallas area. And, I have a story where, it tends to be a lot similar to a lot of people out there, right? We hear the story of, going to school, getting good grades, get a good job, get a family, do that whole thing, right? And I was definitely on that track. I was definitely known for being a straight A student. I went to the University of South Florida for computer engineering, also majored in magazine design, followed up with like adult education. So I was really heavy on college and education and had a really great career, still do have a really great career as an instructional designer. In the tech field. I developed e-learning courses and I loved it. I loved doing what I do. And the next step for me was finding a family, right? I wanted to live that woman's dream that we've always been taught as little girls, that princess story of finding the Prince Charming. And so I was like, all right, I got a good career. Let me find what's out there. And I actually did. I found a wonderful guy and we fell in love and I got pregnant and I was so excited. I was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl, Xavier and Exora. But one day things went south. And after being pregnant for 5, almost 6 months, I lost that pregnancy. And it was devastating to both of us. I had lost previous pregnancies before and I had hard times. And so that pregnancy really hit me hard. The biggest thing that happened was I also lost the relationship as well. And I had to ask myself after all of that and the depression and getting through that is, what am I doing with my life? Is it really just find a family and settle down and that's the end of the story? And I had to go back and really, they always say that tragedy kind of makes you reevaluate. I think that's why a lot of people are even doing that right now with COVID, just reevaluating where they are and where they stand and where their goals really are. And that's exactly what that made me do. And I had to look at, as a woman, I can do more and be more than just a wife and a mother. And so I looked at my background of education, how much I loved it. But more than anything, along my path, I've always loved the idea of being free. Any and everybody that could tell you that knows me, my family, my friends, I'm very outgoing and have this freedom type way of thinking. And I've always had that idea. And I knew that I was going to have that idea for even the children that I didn't have. And so along that path of going back and understanding, I remembered what I kept hearing. And it was real estate, real estate, real estate, generating wealth through real estate. And I was like, well, shoot, I was going to do that for the babies that I almost had. Why not still continue along that path even if it's just me.
Yep.
And so I said, I'm diving in. I'm going to learn absolutely everything that I possibly can about generating wealth and, passing that education on to others. So that's how I started. It started from tragedy, unfortunately, but it has propelled me in so many ways. And in a lot of ways, I'm thankful for it, because it showed me who I really am and who I really want to be. And
Mm.
so since then, I've learned mostly about multifamily, a little bit about single family. I'm going to say a lot about single family, but my goal has really been about multifamily because I'm the type of person I'm going to go big the first time around. So I've also done Airbnbs along that way. Did a major flip recently here in Dallas. Had 100K day, about to have another 200K day in Tampa. So that's been my journey. And I really am just looking to excel with patience and the right people on my crew. I'm just looking to excel. So that's my story.
No, I love it, man. Um, it's special, and it's, it makes you take a step back and realize that we all have something we've been through or that we're going through. And so that's why I'm so big on, like, no matter where you're at in life, just treat everybody the same. Treat them with genuine
Yes.
love, because you truly don't know what people are going through, right? Yeah, because I had my NFL injury, had worked my whole life, and this isn't about me, it's about you. But the correlation of making it to the NFL, being there, and then getting paralyzed on Monday Night Football from the neck down, career being over with, starting over, depression, the list goes on, neck surgeries, 4 screws, plates in my neck, rehab, physical therapy, blah, 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 right? But the point is, on the backside of that, man, and there's a scripture that I always lean on, is Jeremiah 32, and he talks about rebuilding us again. He built us already, but just like this, just like his temple was torn down, but he said it in his scripture that I'm gonna not only rebuild it, I'll rebuild it again, but stronger. And that's what you are. You're a rebuilt temple, and you're built stronger now. You're built to last, and you're built for where God is going to take you. So I'm excited to watch your journey and to truly encourage anybody in the audience listening to this podcast. Like, me and Tonya are both here having a moment. We're connecting. That's what you're supposed to do, is take time and build rapport and build genuine relationships. Everybody's just all about posting and looking cool. And it's like, what happened to real relationships? And that's why I will say that's been the cool thing about this podcast, is really getting to connect with people again. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Just listening to people's stories. Yeah. It's powerful.
Yeah. Well, be encouraged, my sister. God has got a plan for you. Obviously, you're seeing it. You're walking it out. And I want to, before we get off, I'll make sure we're connected. Anything I can do to help you, I will. So let's jump into this thing. So obviously you're doing the multifamily, you're flipping houses, you had a 100K day, about to have a 200K day, right? God has moved you into real estate. It started with financial literacy. What was that first thing you read? What was that first podcast? Like, what really got you going? Because I've heard a lot of people say, man, I'm interested in real estate, and they read a book and they're like, but man, it didn't spark anything. What sparked you?
Yeah, well, before even the real estate, it was just books about financial wealth, right? Like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everyone's, read that one. It just started off with understanding the mindset, like changing my mindset. I come from a really small town in Florida, and I had to rewire the way that I thought, even though I had a lot of education on the back end. It's just, wait a minute, I need to not think like a poor man anymore. I need to think like I'm already there. And so books like that. And then once I got into understanding a little bit more about real estate, the podcast I hit up on a daily was Bigger Pockets. I mean, Bigger Pockets taught me so much at the beginning. Before I actually had enough money to get a mentor and a coach, Bigger Pockets was my mentor and coach. They had so much on there and still do, and expanding every day. So those were the people that I went to.
I just knew you were going to say, every day I listen to The Real Estate Entrepreneur with Terrence Murphy. I just knew that was coming. I was like sitting back in my seat. I'm like, here it comes. This is my moment.
You right, I should have.
I'm just giving you a hard time. So we got a new section called Coming In Hot. There's no music right now, but there's a section that the music comes in. It's like coming in hot, right? So here's our coming in hot section. So that means it's rapid fire, and you're just going to answer them in one word or one sentence. You ready?
Ready.
We're going to go quick. College degree or no college degree?
College degree.
Okay. What was your greatest challenge as a child?
Ooh, overcoming the stereotype of sounding white.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good. That's good wisdom. What was your first attempt at entrepreneurship?
I tried to become a virtual assistant, like before virtual assistant even existed.
What was the worst real estate or entrepreneurial advice you've ever received? The worst.
You don't need any money to get into this business.
Wow. And who is the one person that made the biggest impact on your career?
Mark Kenny, my mentor in Dallas.
Love it. Good job. Good job. Good job. We need like a fan like button, like the crowd roars in the background. We need to add that on there. Yeah, we need to add that on there. That'll be cool. So if you were to mentor me now, right? Because I'm real big on Paul and Timothy. You know, the Paul and Timothy, relationship where he found his Timothy and then he, mentored him and he said, all right, now you go find your Timothy, right? So let's just reverse it now. We've talked about you being mentored. We talked about you reading books. If you were going to mentor me or someone listening on this show, and I'm willing to do the work now, that's important. The mindset has to change. Mm-hmm. The work is being done. What were the top 3 things that you would encourage me to do right now, starting out?
I would tell you to dream big. That's the first thing. I think a lot of new time entrepreneurs getting into it, they're like, well, let me start off small and see where I go there. And of course, the phrase baby steps, of course. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with dreaming big. Figure out what it is that your ultimate goal is and where it is that you want to go. I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially as a woman. There's a lot of times when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm not out here like these guys doing it. There's not that many women in this space. Let me take my time. And I was just saying, oh, I just want a couple of units. I just want 4 units. I just want to be able to make $200 per door. And I didn't realize that I could dream big. So I would definitely say dream big. Mm-hmm. I would say, one of the biggest things that I realize, and I still do, is if you're willing to take the time and work on your credit. Just work on it every day, even your business credit. A lot of people I talk to that are newbies, they don't understand business credit and how it's different from personal and how it's really helped me in my investing journey. Figure out the ins and outs of it and nurture it. Mm-hmm. And then I would say if you were patient enough, because I don't have the patience, but I'm going to give the advice out there because you don't always follow your own advice. I'm going to say, figure out this new tech that's out there, mm-hmm. With the metaverse and, even with the crypto and the Bitcoin and the this and the that. I wish that I can keep up with all that, but it's moving way too fast for me to even try and stay on it. But if you are somebody that's new in this space and you're patient enough to figure it out, definitely do that.
No, that's great.
I'm going to try and take my own advice as well.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, I've been all in on the crypto and the metaverse and the NFTs, and it's been crazy. I've been enjoying it for sure. I want to circle back. There's one thing that you said. People don't understand the difference between business credit and personal credit. If you could answer that question real quick, because that's just a free flow question. Like if you could say, hey, here's how, if you were going to explain it to my, young professional realtor that's on my team in a short, how would you explain business credit versus personal credit?
Yeah, so personal credit is based on your own personal spending habits, right? And there's a score that's attached to it. And business credit is basically the same thing, but it has your business attached to it, and it's the spending habit of your actual business. And so, but it's calculated completely different than the personal credit, and it grows faster, and you're able to get more lending and more funding for your business than you are personally, because just the way that the businesses are structured versus being an individual. So I highly recommend looking into business credit and figuring out. I have listened to so many podcasts, listened to or read so many different books and articles out there on how to quickly increase your business. I would say there's one person I follow online. Her name is actually Ellie. Ellie Talks Money on Instagram. Shout out to Ellie. She's really great with teaching, especially on your novice level when you have no idea about business credit. She's really great with that. So yeah,
I need to
learn the
get
business credit
her
game.
on the show. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Yeah, I need to get her on the show just talking about credit, right? So,
Yes, you do.
Okay. We need to do that. No, that's good
Yeah.
wisdom, because you hear it being thrown around, credit, why is it important? And then business credit versus personal. So thank you for taking some time and adding some wisdom to that. So what do you feel like in the real estate market people are not paying attention to right now? What's that? Hey, and you might have already kind of alluded to it, but what do you feel like in the real estate market people aren't paying attention to that they need to be paying attention to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to repeat what I said about the tech side of things.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that are diving head in, but you have people like me that really aren't paying that much attention to it. And I probably should, because I'm going to get left behind if I don't soon. So I've already had it on my to-do list of, find somebody that can teach me, spend X amount of time, a day learning about it, because there's so much tech out there that's moving quickly. And if I don't get behind it, I'm going to be pissed. In 5 years, 10 years from now, I'm like, dang, so I think that's what's the big thing right now is just understanding how to incorporate that technology within real estate.
So let's talk about your flip deals, right? So why did you choose flipping? Let's break down that first deal or it wasn't your first, but the one you made 100K on. Walk me through what that looks like. Tell me the semantics of it. So you flipped, made 100K day, which is an awesome 6-figure day.
Yeah.
So tell me about that, man. I'm very impressed.
So that one actually, it wasn't a flip; it was buy hold.
Okay.
It was here in Dallas. I had just moved to Dallas. I got here in 2017, and I knew that I really wanted to take advantage of this great market. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I moved here. And so I knew that I wanted to find just a small multifamily that I could purchase. But after a lot of searching, the market here, it's kind of inflated. And so I couldn't find anything within my price range, but I did find one that I could house hack. And so that's actually what I did with that property here in Dallas. I house hacked it. And for those who don't know what house hacking is, it's basically you finding a home where you personally can live in part of it, and you can get tenants to live in the other part. The rent that they're paying is paying for some or all of your mortgage, and you're basically living there for free. And so and eventually the goal is to continue to do that or refi out of it. And so that's what I did. I actually stayed in there for maybe about a year until I start doing a lot of traveling. Then I was like, okay, I'm only gonna stay in for a year, and then I'm actually gonna get more tenants to replace me. And so then I had, 2 tenants staying in the property, and I'm just collecting the rent. And then the market just skyrocketed. And I was like, let me see what I can get from this. Let me just test the waters. And sure enough, I could have held it for longer, but I was like, yeah, 100K doesn't sound bad at all. When I talked to my realtor and I got it appraised and I saw that 100, I was like, bet. So yeah, I was happy about that.
So let's talk about if you don't mind, it's a 2-unit building or it's a single family?
So it's a duplex.
So a
Or
duplex.
it was a
Yep.
duplex. Yep.
Yep. From a financing standpoint, did you do conventional, FHA? Let's talk about that.
Yes. So I love talking about numbers. So I actually purchased it just under 300.
Hmm.
I use FHA,
Yep.
and I was able to put down a really low down payment because of that FHA program. And it was actually turnkey. So I didn't have to
Mm.
do any renovations to it. The duplex was also kind of unique because it was one where the first unit was in the front and then the back unit was in the back. So it was a pretty sweet kind of, instead of a side by side duplex that um, most people are familiar with, it was like a back to back duplex with a beautiful yard in between. So it was really nice property in an area here in Dallas in the North Oak Cliff area that's in a really nice popping spot. And I was like, okay, cool. I can stay in the back house because the back house was a little smaller. The front was a 2-1 and the back was a 2-1 as well, or excuse me, 2-1.5. And I was like, okay, I can stay in the back. Not going to be here that long, so I got my stuff, moved in the back, and then did the process of finding tenants. And I was the property manager for that process for about a year and a half while I was there. Um, and then once, I held it for 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Hmm.
And at that point, like I said, I bought it for just under 300, and the appraisal came in at 415, 410, 415.
Wow.
So
You did good on that one.
I think I did good on that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm always telling people if I could go back again, single or young or whatever we want to call it, if you're able to move and house hack, move into a duplex or a fourplex or triplex, move into a unit, rent out the other units, it's a no-brainer. FHA loan, 3.5 to 5% down. It's a no-brainer. And as long as you
No
stay in there for
brainer.
the first 12 months, you're good. And then you can move out and do it again if you need to, right? And I tell people the down payment that you're going to put down is going to be way less than you're going to pay on a security deposit and 12 months or 16 months rent. So,
Yep.
man, it just makes no sense to not do it. So, congrats on that. So,
Thanks.
we'll progress. So, a couple more questions I want to run by you. We talked about the metaverse, cryptocurrency kind of being on people's radar. We've talked about house hacking, building equity. You could always refi it because I always say it could be a cash transaction. You can sell it, make the 100K, or you can refi it and pull out the 75 to 80K and still own the asset. It's really what you want to do.
Right.
So the next couple questions, we're going to go quick. But before I do that, what's the one thing that you feel like now that you're in the real estate industry is a little harder to crack into than people are giving it? Some people are like, oh, I'll just get my license or I'll just do that and it's easy. What's the one thing you like? It was a little bit harder than I anticipated in the real estate industry.
So at this point, I'm trying to focus on small multifamily, meaning less than 20 units.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that going above that was going to be a lot harder than I originally thought. I mean,
Yeah.
even I was in a group, paying a bunch of money to a mentor and learning everything about, 300, 400, 500 unit buildings, right? But I didn't realize how difficult it was because I chose to take on the role of raising money and raising capital. And I also had to understand at the time, I didn't have the network in order to build, in order to be able to get funding like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't just know somebody that's just sitting over in the corner that has $50,000, $100,000 to put into a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a lot harder than I thought. And that's why I actually postponed that. I'm still going back to that. Oh, promise you I will. I will be going back to the large commercial 300, 400 unit buildings. But because it was a little difficult, more difficult than I thought, I for now have said, all right, I'm going to focus on the smaller units and build my network, build my net worth, then be able to move faster.
No, I love it. I always say network equals net worth, right?
Yeah.
And so you just pretty much uncovered that, like, you know what, let me go back and build this net worth to transition to my net worth.
Yeah.
And you won't compete like right now. I mean, I'm in that space and it's a bloodbath right now in multifamily space, especially Class A, Class B, 200 to 300, 400 units. I mean, these things, $50 million, $70 million assets getting 16 offers.
I know.
18 offers.
It's unheard of.
That's what you see on a $150,000 starter home, not on a $50 to $80 million asset. So I think you're smart by saying, you know what, I'm going to transition over here. And I've even myself decided the same. I said, you know what, let me just double down on developing these neighborhoods that I've been doing for a while. Let me buy my strip centers that have worked really well for me, and let me focus on the 75 units and down that I can take down with raising no capital. That is a good sweet spot because you're not competing with a lot of that private equity.
Yes, yes.
It's good wisdom. So next 3 questions. All right. There's kind of like our coming in hot round, but you don't have to do it in one word.
Okay.
So we're going to do 3 questions in a row, answer them fast. So what's your secret to good time management?
I time block now. I didn't always time block, but I time block. So literally on my calendar, it is, yoga, eat,
Yep.
calls, break. It's literally that, because if I don't, I'll go. I'm definitely one of those people that will wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and will not stop until 7, 8 o'clock and be exhausted.
Yep.
And so I had to start time blocking everything. Like, okay, this is going to be for an hour. And after that hour, I'm done with it and I'm going to go to the next thing. And so time blocking, definitely.
Man, that's awesome. I've said that a million times to people. So thank you for backing me up. So all of you people that are a part of my organizations, especially TM5, that push back on time blocking, you heard it from Miss Tonya. Time block.
Time block.
What's your secret to building a brand?
Consistency and knowing my audience. Because if I don't know my audience, they're not going to know me, and I'm not going to be able to consistently show up for the right people. So consistency and knowing who my audience is.
Love it. I got another question, but I'm about to substitute it. What's your secret to a good e-learning course? Because I know you said you built e-learning courses.
Yes. Oh, that's a loaded question, but I'm going to say, I would say the secret is making sure that people are retaining what you're actually teaching them by making them do what you're actually teaching them. We have something in the instructional design space where we say we show them, right? We show them how to do it, and then we demo how to do it, and then we let them do it. And so if you're not doing that in your e-learning courses, people aren't going to retain it, especially adults. Adults learn totally different. And so we have to, can be very similar to kids, but we need to put our hands on things. We need to be able to, and then we need to be able to pull from real life examples. So if your e-learning course isn't pulling from real life examples, if you're not actually giving them something to do that's obtainable, they're not going to retain it. And, you're just wasting your time. And then interactivity. I really like interactivity.
No, that's good. Would you be willing to come on and be a consultant for my new e-learning course?
I know we might have to talk about that offline.
No, I know we need to. I had to shoot my shot. While I had a chance, let me get that up. Let me get that up. It takes me 2 seconds to hear wisdom. I was like, this is to know what she's talking about. All right. Last couple of questions and I'm gonna get out of here. It's been good, man. I'm loving the vibe. So yes. What is the one technology or service that you believe everybody will be using next year? And it may go back to what you've already hit on a couple times.
Yeah, I feel like it is because it's just moving so fast in that space. And like I said, I'm not on the train right now. So I'd
Mhm.
love to be able to answer that question. Maybe you could tell me, what's something that I need to focus on as far as tech goes.
Yeah, I think CRMs obviously are a no-brainer. And they always,
Yeah.
I didn't realize till I was talking to a CRM specialist. He said there's over 5,000 CRMs, which I was like, there's no way. He was like, dude, I counted every one of them. I was like, well, I
I
believe
believe it. Okay.
you.
Yeah.
So CRMs is important, but I always say the best CRM is the one you'll use, right? So you got to start building a database
Yeah.
because whether you, like you said, you're going to raise capital, you're going to need a database. Whether you're going to do flips, you're going to need a database. Whether you decide to sell real estate, you're going to need a database. Whether you decide to do e-learning courses, you need a database. So take your
Right.
iPhone, take your social media, take your LinkedIn, export all your contacts into a database and start showing up consistently in front of them. Because I always say, like, in the beginning of whatever space you want to get into, somebody already has that mind space in your SOI's place, right? So when they think of, like, if I say, hey, we're coming in town, let's go hang out, let's go get a burger. We don't think of every burger joint in town. We think of the top one or two, and that's where we go. Well,
Right.
it's the same way when, I see agents who get their license and they are in their feelings because their next door neighbor put their house on the market the next week, or their in-laws listed their house with another realtor. It's like, well, because that mind space was already taken by someone else, there's things you got to do consistently in order to become that expert in their mind. That takes time, right? So that's what I would say, CRM and really building that database. If I were coaching you and giving you wisdom back your way.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's definitely powerful. Because, like I said before, that consistency, but I never really thought about it. Okay, well, you got to know, you got to have a database of who that audience is and who you're being consistent to. So, no, I was like, in some ways, I do kind of have a CRM right now that I'm using, but I'm never really satisfied with the tech I have. But it's important. It really is. I love that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because just remember, everybody, whenever you take over, whether you're a CPA, attorney, a realtor, insurance agent, the list goes on, right? Most people, unless you get them right out of college, they already have someone. And most people come right out of college have parents that already have someone, right? So when you get in there, you're pretty much asking them to fire someone else and think about you first. And so you just got to understand that there's emotions tied to that. There's relationships, there's bridges. And that's why I'm so big on when somebody chooses to use me as their realtor or their builder or come and join my organization, I want to make sure that I go over and beyond the call of duty because I know they could have went with someone else. They probably were already with someone else. And that responsibility is very high. That's why I take it to heart to make sure that everybody gets 5-star from me at all times. So yeah, that's the focus for sure. All right, here's our last couple sections, and then we'll jump off. So we have this thing called the Moonshot. So what is, and we think about like Elon Musk, like to the moon. So like, what is your one goal or dream that others think is impossible or crazy to achieve? Like, but you're like, I'm gonna do that. What is that Moonshot?
I want to go to space.
Okay, so we're going to
I
space.
I really, really do. So something about me that only a few people know is that I am in love with Star Trek. I
Okay.
watch it almost every single day, over and over and over again. Sometimes it's just in the background, just playing. And so I've always had this out of the world, way of thinking. And, some people might be like, hey, why? Right. And because I like the idea of freedom.
Yeah.
And that is like the farthest we can go right now. And
Mm-hmm.
who knows, by the time I actually have enough money to do it, we might be able to get a little bit further. So that's my moonshot. I mean,
There it is.
I want to be in that pod.
Why not?
Why not?
A couple years ago, my wife calls me a conspiracy theorist sometimes, but because I do a lot of research about the most random stuff. But there was a group of people, high net worth people, that went to Mars and created a colony. It was on CNN. It was on with CNN, right? But it was on CBNC or CBNC, whatever. But either way, it was like on Wall Street. It was everywhere, and they were literally taking deposits to go to Mars and set up a colony, and they took off.
Really?
Yeah, they're there. It's like you can look it up, like. And it's like, well, if it's on the internet, it doesn't mean it's true. It's like, yeah, but I saw a video of these people shooting off into the sky. So
Wait a minute. So was it a conspiracy theory, or did this just happen?
no, it really happened.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up.
There was real people that went to Mars and created a colony.
I might be given a deposit soon.
I even asked my wife, I was like, you down? What's up? You want to go? She's like, well, we got the kids. I'm like, yeah, you got a point. But no, man. So no, it really happened. So you recommended a book on the real estate entrepreneur with Terrence Murphy. We have everybody bring a book that has made an impact in their life. And you suggested Investing for Good by Annie Dickerson and Julie Lamb. Why? What is that book done for you?
Well, they're in the multifamily space too. And they really specialize in educating people that are just starting off in the multifamily space. Really addressing those issues that I was saying I was having earlier about raising capital and just understanding how to analyze deals, and also from a woman's perspective. Mm-hmm. So I just learned all of that stuff from a woman's perspective, and then also how to use the skill as a woman. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why we're made this way, but women, we tend to be a lot more organized than men. We have a lot more communication skills than men. We're kind of good at it. And so, yeah. And so, they take it from that perspective, and reminding us women that it's okay that there's not that many of us, because we can still come to the table with really great skills and be just as great as some of these men out there. So that's why I recommend it. Yeah, and even better. And they're killing it. Those two ladies are killing it. And so, yeah, that's why I recommend that book. It's really helped me.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about that. Growing up with a single mom and seeing how hard she worked in business administration. And, there was a time where still to this day, if you look across my companies, I don't have a lot of male leaders. I mean, most of my leaders are ladies. And so I remember there was even a time, I had friends like, do you hire men at your companies? I'm like, no, I mean, I do. But the best candidate who interviewed out of the 500 resumes just happened to be her, right? So, and she's been here now 10 years or 8 years or whatever, and she's killing it. So I'm cool with it. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree at all. I mean, the best teammates, outside of football, but obviously the best teammates I've had in business have been ladies. They're very loyal, very hardworking, very consistent. All right, so where can people, we're going to do two things now. Final thoughts, and then where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so final thoughts I think would be just, remember to dream big. No limitation. The sky is the limit. No matter what anybody tells you, no matter where you come from, no matter the struggles you've had, the trauma that you've had, the sky is the limit. Only you are stopping yourself from reaching it. So that's definitely final thought on that. And then you can reach me at Tonya Weathers on Instagram, and also TonyaWeathers.com. I am always there to share information, educate people, have chats. If you're just still starting off and you don't really know where to start, I'm always happy to talk to new investors. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Love it. Hey, great job. Thank you for being on the show. I'm proud of you. Like I said, God has rebuilt you for where you're about to go in this journey, and anything I can do to help you, let me know.
Thank you so much. You are wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of The Real Estate Entrepreneur with Terrence Murphy. Please subscribe on whichever platform you are listening, and consider leaving a 5-star review, as that will help us gain traction and continue to bring you knowledge in the real estate industry. For more content, head over to terrencemurphy.com.